Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. This is Robert Roy. We're here today, sponsored by wealthbuildershq.com. Welcome to Market Mornings. Let me go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you would go ahead and type the number 1 in the chat box, I would greatly appreciate it. Just to let me know that I'm not talking to myself for the next little bit, which is about 20 minutes is what we plan on. All right, there we go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good. Thank you, Paula. Kevin, much appreciated. Thank you very much. All right, as we go through this morning, keep in mind everything we look at is for educational purposes only. Nothing is meant to be advice or recommendations. We're going to talk about some things that are happening in the market. Now, normally what I would do every morning is I set 2 videos up. The first one I do right after 8:30 a.m., which goes into what's happening in the futures market, because I want to see the 8:30 reports come out. And the second one comes out right after that of what some of the pre-market movers are. And again, the goal is to watch what happens with some of those. And I've already done that research here, because if I tried to do that in the 20 minutes, I don't even know if we have enough time to get through all the candidates today to really go in depth on them. But we're certainly going to have some time to go through some of the bigger, what I would say are more important ones for me. So make sure if you do like what you see here, folks, subscribe, ring the bell so you get that notification that we're doing this. This is going to be a Monday through Friday training, at least for now. That's how we're planning to do it every day, every trading day, 9 a.m. Eastern time, as you know, just before the market opens up. We'll get this training here. It will replace the training that I was doing for the 2 short videos. This will replace that. You'll still see it on Twitter and on Facebook and all that good stuff, but it won't. We're actually live on Facebook and Twitter right now, as well as YouTube. But it will not just. You'll not see those 2 videos any longer. This would be the replacement for it. But ring the bell. You'll get a notification of, hey, Rob's going live, and you'll be able to make sure you jump in every time you get a chance. All right. So first thing I want to do is let's go look at the S&P 500. So if we do an analysis of S&P 500, let me take this symbol grid down, try to make it a little bit bigger. And if the chart looks a little small, go ahead and do a full screen on your system. Instead of trying to keep it in a window, do a full screen on it. You'll be able to see a little bit better. All right. And if you hear some noise in the back, sorry about that. I did a short video this morning that I just sent into the office to publish. We've got construction going on outside. They are tearing up our street. And of course, it's right in front of my house today that they're doing this, right? So on our inauguration day. So as we look at the S&P 500, we are in a true bullish bias, meaning the 8 moving average is above the 21, which is above the 55. They're all in the right order, all 3. They're all in the right order, which is exactly what I want. Yesterday, we took a pop to the upside, retested that 4,500 level, and ran, closed near the high of the day, which is great. But we've had such a tremendous move in the last 5 days. It's not surprising to see that we're kind of flat-ish this morning. Let's see exactly where we are. So here's the ES. We're down 0.5 point on the ES. Big deal, which is nothing, basically. And we're going to look at the futures in just a few minutes. But we're down 0.5 point, so we're flat on the day. Again, not surprising after the moves that we've seen, right? Nothing really news-wise driving. And we do have some goods and bads on earnings. Netflix was not as good as planned. United Airlines better than expected, right? Plus, the CEO was on CNBC this morning talking about how great things are. We're beyond 2019's numbers and bookings and pricing and all that wonderful stuff. So the big fear with the airlines is fuel, right? That's where their biggest concern is. But hey, don't worry about it. We can just keep raising prices. Someone's going to pay for it. The rich are going to pay for it, right? There we go. So very bullish on the market today. So I'm liking that for sure. When we look at the futures, let's go ahead and look at it from a standpoint of the way I like to do this every single day is, oh darn, I should have started up my software that gives me a drawing tool. So I'm going to, which is Camtasia. So we're going to take 0.5 second to do that now. Let's move that there. Let's set up a new recording. I don't really plan on recording it because we already are. But if I do a recording, see 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, now we hit pause. I now have drawing capabilities. The software we use for streaming doesn't have it. So this vertical line right here is the 5 p.m. close yesterday night, last evening. and the 6 p.m. open last evening, right? Which is for today. So what happened there after that open is we dropped off a little bit. We came right back up, put in a double top pattern, and then we got this nice sliding fail, right? This arrow that I dropped in there today is 3 a.m., which is the European Open. But of course, they have a pre-market just like we do. So we started to see some bottoming out, 2:15 a.m. or so Eastern time. We got a huge spike in Europe, a pullback, and we've just been sideways ever since. Nothing in here has said, ooh, we're going bullish, we're going down, nothing, right? We've just now moved to half a point to the upside. So we're going to kind of flip-flop a little bit. But that's where we are with ES. If we look at the Dow, we're down 18 points on the Dow. And the NASDAQ, we are up 11 3/4. You'll see it right here, right where my mouse is. Right? Bitcoin is at 64,715. Very nice. My first entry of Bitcoin was $1,200 a coin. First time I got in. I did get in, sell it, buy some more back. Let's see. Gold has had a nice run to the upside. Crude oil is dropping down a little bit. Thank goodness, right? I mean, whew. I'm not a fan of what's happening price-wise. I got to negotiate another month and a half with our heating oil. So I am not a fan of these higher prices at all, not compared to what I was paying last year. All right, so overall markets, the financial markets are doing fine. They're flattish, right? Bitcoin up, gold up, crude down, nat gas is down as well, right? So with that, let's go take a look at what's happening. First thing is, if you're not familiar with it already, this BITO symbol came out as of yesterday, right? What is BITO? BITO is the futures. It's an ETF of the futures of Bitcoin, right? So it gives you an opportunity to get in as an ETF. Now they don't own Bitcoin. They're working on a future, on an ETF that is not futures, that is equity based or Bitcoin type based. You know, the crypto based. They don't have it out yet, but they are working on it. That one I'm very excited for. I put my order in yesterday. I tried to buy 500 shares of this, and TradeStation rejected the order. They would not allow me to buy 500. So not because of cash issues. I had plenty of cash in the account. It wouldn't allow me to buy for whatever reason. I never called. I never tried to figure out the why. But I wound up getting just 100 shares of it yesterday. I think there's some opportunity here. There are some traders that are fighting it a little bit. But I think if we're right on Bitcoin, if the experts are right on Bitcoin, they think it's 70, 80, 100,000 within the next year, to 2022. I think it's an opportunity for me to not have to worry about the individual coin and so forth. I can buy it in the future, the futures, and deal with the shares there instead. So I do own the coin. I own Bitcoin. I own some Ethereum. And I own now the BITO. So something definitely look at it. Not optionable yet. My expectation is within a couple of days, week or two, it should hit enough shares of volume traded to be eligible. Whether they turn it into optionable or not, it will be something else, but it should be eligible. So the symbols I want to take a look at here are symbols that come off of newsy stuff that's happening in the morning. And what comes off of one of my watch lists called Pop 5K. Pop 5K are, if you know what Pop is, power option plays. It's one of the advanced training series that we do, or subscription services that we do, where we call out trade setups each and every week. We have 2 different days a week that we call them out. Some of those are higher price. You've got the Amazons, the Googles, the Chipotles, and so forth in there. We also have lower price things. We've got Baba, we've got Home Depot, United Healthcare in there. But we did a Pop 5K. I built out a list for those that would say, Rob, I just don't have the cash. I love the strategy. I don't have the cash to do these higher price stocks. And we went with a bunch of the lower price stocks, which Apple was not on lower price, but it is today because of their split. So it gives us an opportunity at least to go back and say, ooh, here are some symbols that we can look at and check out. But I also have some Reddits on there, which I check every day on Reddit. Ironically, I bought BB the other day. I bought it in my wife's IRA account, and I sold naked puts. I bought the actual equity in my wife's IRA. I sold naked puts on it in my account. And so I had 2 different inklings into the same position. And today or yesterday, BB skyrockets, right? Just takes off. It had pulled back a bit. We had a great gap up. It's higher price than where I bought it at. So we're right about the strike. The strike I sold for the covered call is right about where it is now. We're close. It's a little bit off, but we're close. So it's doing great. But I always want to look at these 3 stocks in particular that are Reddit type stocks. AMC's got earnings coming out not long from now, so I want to be cautious on AMC. But GameStop, I did a naked put on it yesterday on GME. I like where it's at. I've got plenty of protection in there. It's for this week. So here we are Wednesday. We've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3, right? 3 days we've got to contend with. So if we look down here to movers and shakers, those are the 3 well, this is the list I really want to start off with, and then we'll get into the pop 5Ks and some of the others if we have time on them. So BB, if you're looking at BB from a standpoint of should I enter into it now, I think you've got to play these stocks closely. In other words, you've got to know what's going on with these companies, right? You can see the big, where isn't it? There we go. Okay, I don't know why it still showed S&P 500 there, but we had that great run up to $20. We backed off, and we've held nicely at this 9.5 level, which is about where it dropped to last week. And we've had these great moves ever since off that 9.5. We've got some topping out here at 11.75. So caution if you're trying to buy it now. If you get a breakout of that 11.75, breakout, retest, bounce, whatever way works for you. If you're a breakout trader, go for it. The earnings have passed already, so I'm not too concerned with earnings on it. That's actually where we wound up buying some, was based on their earnings, right? And that's where I sold puts, and we've written covered calls all the way since then, every week on BB. All right, so keep your eye on BB. That's one. The next one is Netflix, right? That was the next one on our list, Netflix, NFLX. They had earnings last night. Earnings weren't great at all, right? If we look at the pre-market on Netflix, the green and red bars to the left over here are regular market. This is the post and now pre-market. So they had a big move up and a pullback in there, and they're down right now about $12.50. They're sitting at $626.50. So if we look at Netflix, $626.50, we got down below 630. So the first question that's going to come up is, Rob, do we have a gap trade in here? And the answer is there. You could take a gap trade, but if you're looking for a gap fill, you're making a mistake on a Netflix. And here's the reason why. I ran the statistics. And on a $12 gap, let me see, I've got it over here. On a $12 gap, I think it's 3 times Netflix has presented. Yep. It's a little over 12. So between 12 and 13, it's happened 4 times. Netflix has had a gap that was between $12 and $13. That's in 2 years. Really not something I want to try to play with. So it's telling me, yeah, it's not there. Now, forgetting about the gap fill, if we're at 626.50 and I've got a support line, or what is now resistance, at 630.50, I'm looking to get above that 630, retest and bounce. That's the trade I would like to see if the market turns back around and says Netflix, not really. Or make it up to that 630.50 and fail. I'm okay with that as a continuation down, because look at the move I have, right? I've got a fib line to fib line move with moving averages at both. So I've got confluence on the upside and confluence on the downside. Definitely interested in this. It just depends the pattern it presents, right? Earnings just came out, and it is a pop stock. We don't normally put setups on these that will hold overnight, but day trades, we trade them all day long. All day long, all right? So Netflix was number 2. UAL, since I'm here, is the third main one today. All right, now they had earnings come out. Today. Let's go back and look at how they're performing, UAL. So they had a nice little spike up. They closed at 46.25. They're sitting right now at 47, we'll call it. So I'm looking at this. I like the airline industry. I like airlines. I like hotels. I like cruise lines. I think they're the recovery companies that haven't recovered yet. You know, people are buying, people are spending money, people are doing things, but they're not flying as much. They're not staying in hotels as much. They're certainly not getting on cruises as much, right? Maybe some of the opening of the European market, allowing the people from Europe to travel back and forth to the U.S. may help with some of the travel things. But for right now, I like these guys. So I'm going to be looking at UAL as a potential naked put, possibly a diagonal. I just don't know if I'm going to get enough premium on the diagonal. I may have to hold on to a little bit longer than I like to, which is a break even of less than 5 weeks. It's going to take me more than that, which I think it might. I'm probably not going to do that, but I'm okay with the naked put on it, possibly even a covered call. But naked put is more the direction of where I think I'm heading on this one today, right? Let's see. Then we've got ANTM. Now, ANTM came out this morning, and I'm just going to keep making this screen bigger because that's the screen that has my pre-market on it. It's right there. Right? ANTM came out this morning with earnings. Right? They closed at 394. They're at about 400 right now. So good move to the upside. I'll be looking at a potential bull put spread on ANTM. I think I'm just going to take them right off of my list. Right? BIIB, which is Biogen. I used to trade this thing like crazy. They closed last evening roughly 268. They're trading at 271 right now. Also, an earnings announcement is what drove them up. So I'll be looking at a bull put spread on Biogen. Biogen. NVAX. So NVAX, if we go back and look, get the whole data, you can see they were at 160-ish, and they're at 123.5 right now. Why? What's going on? Right? Actually, let me do this. Let's try this. NVAX. If I don't have my option chain visible, it doesn't register. So NVAX right now down 38 points. They do have weekly options on them, which is really good. They do have a bit of a big spread in there. I don't know if that's overnight. I don't really trade NVAX, so I'm not 100% sure as what's going on there with them. But we definitely want to look at on NVAX. Can I find a place that says, so if we're down to, what did we say, 130? 123. So we're down below this last fib line, right? So I want to do something above, bear call spread above that 131 would be what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking at 131s, we turn this into a vertical. So we've got, right, we have, oh boy, we got 130, 135s, right? I mean, if I can get 470 for a $5 credit spread, I would be all over it. Something tells me that won't happen. These were yesterday's numbers. But even with that, with a $35 move, if we go 30 down to 100, yeah, I mean, we're still looking at some huge numbers here, right? So we'll see what it pans out, and you won't know until the market opens. But I will be looking at this one with that kind of move. I definitely look at this type of setup, right, on NVAX. We already talked about UAL. CNI is another one. Canadian National Railway. What happened with them? They had a CEO change. Apparently, there was some kind of merger with KSU that they weren't able to get through, and people have been calling for this guy's heads. I think he's a man. But this CEO's head for a while now, and that CEO finally resigned, so the stock took a pop on that. I do not find this type of news tends to hold very long, so it would only be something I would do for this week. 124 up to 128. I'll be looking at a bull put spread on it. And then we got EAT. How do I find all the food ones? Go figure. $49 where it closed. It's at $43 right now. EAT, lower profit margins. Someone must be eating them, right? They've got lower profit margins right now. So, they're down a bit. I will be looking at this one as a bear call spread for it. That's the only trade setup I would do. You could look at buying a directional put if you want. It's just a matter of how long you think this news will linger. All right, WDFC. WD-40, right? $230. It's now at $209. Wowzer, right? It was on earnings. So let's go look here. WDFC. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. So, goodness gracious. If I could find something above that 228 level, Told you, I don't have the option chain open for some reason on TradeStation. It gives me a hard time. Right, I'm not a fan that it has only monthlies on it. There's just not a lot of interest in the options. Tremendous bid-ask spreads. Next. Okay, they're gone. Cross them off. Last one is TGNA. Right, they got financial backing for a TV offering that they're going to be doing. So they closed up about 1972. They're trading right now at 21. So about $1 to the upside. I will be looking at selling a naked put on this one and potentially covered call, things like that. Diagonal, I don't think is going to work for it. Normally, I don't do them on this low price stock, but definitely covered call as a potential. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how was it? Was it helpful? Did you get some good stuff from it? I truly hope you did. All right, go ahead and show some love there. All right, smash that like button. I appreciate when you do. There you go. Be sure to like and subscribe. Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be planning on this every day. So today was the inauguration. I hope it was helpful. Hope it was worth your time. Have a great rest of your day. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, you're just one trade away. Take care, and I will see all of you at our next one. Bye for now.